All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. All right. As you can see, we got a full schedule today. I don't know for how far we're gonna watch this Nick and Joel video because they're not really talking about anything for real. Just like hiding your power levels, like Myron talks about, um, and gaining power and uh, I don't want to say status, but influence, so that you can make a change. So we might not watch too much of that because I want to see what the fuck these niggas are talking about with Iran. So yeah, might watch it. Might watch depending on how well the conversation is. We might not watch a lot of that, and we might just get right into that Iran shit because that is what's really going on. And that's what's important right now because that is going to change a lot of people's lives over the course of these next couple of years. So this is definitely what we will be talking about. And yeah, new updates with that would only be that Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. So I think the gallon, the price of oil, like the gallon was at, I forgot what it was at, but it rose up to $80. And that was like that was like this morning. So I want to say it's probably higher now, but yeah, we can already see the oil getting higher. But yeah, let's get right into this shit.
The bitch shaking it, showing it. You this, you that. We laughing at them together. Oh! So stop treating these mother like they mean something.
Let's go to TikTok. All right, let's get right into this video. See what they're talking about.
Hide your power levels. I've heard you talk about that. Flesh it out.
So, of course, everybody that watches, someone like you or someone like me, probably could be considered a political radical, far-right radical, something like that. And I know, because I was a young man once, or I was, let's say, an adolescent with far-right radical politics, the first thing you want to do when you find out the secrets of the country or politics is you want to go and tell everybody you know. And we say when you're getting red-pilled.
Right.
A lot of people tend to overdose on red pills. And I think it's only natural. It's curiosity. People then want to air all this out to their friends, their family. And a lot of people in particular, they want to jump on social media. They feel strongly about these things, whether it's the sovereignty of the country, race, immigration, if they have fanatical religious beliefs. And I say that as a good thing.
Yeah, I just like telling the truth, and this just so happens to be a part of the truth.
I think fanaticism's good. People then want to go and promote this on the internet.
I just read about World War II. You know,
Right.
I need to tell everyone.
That's right. Yeah, I just found out, and everyone now needs to know. And it's always been a struggle for as long as I've been doing this, which is almost 10 years, to convince young men not to do that. Because, of course, we live in a society where we have a power structure. And the whole kind of program is we're trying to change the power structure. We're trying to change who is in power, and we're trying to change the type of society that proceeds from that power structure. So necessarily, what we are talking about is changing the country, and the country doesn't want to be changed.
Right.
The people that are in power don't want to be overthrown.
Conservatives don't want to change it. They literally want to conserve crap.
Right. And they're participating with the Democrats in upholding everything, the status quo, the way things are going. They don't want to see the country change direction. So what is required is a lot of discretion, secrecy. We have to look at ourselves in some ways as subverting the political order. If we identify ourselves explicitly as opponents of the system, working in that same system, very quickly, those people will be eliminated. They will be isolated. They will be targeted, fired, harassed, reputations destroyed, things like that. And so it's basically a precondition for any.
Hello.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Sure. You want me to help you with your groceries?
Any
That's a fact, because that's why I'm kind of glad I do what I do, because it's out of the way and I don't not like beholding to like a system to where like is to the point to where like I'm not like it's not like I said, I'm not beholden to a system anymore. So I understand what he's talking about. Like I don't really have to listen to higher ups, if that makes sense. Like there's no higher ups to listen to. There's one guy that I speak to. Other than that, there's no like CEO or the CEO or like it's nothing like that. So that's why I feel thankful for the things that I do or what I do for a living. And I like playing the game, so, and I'm on Kick, so it's not too many free speech. It's free speech on Kick. I definitely agree with this. Like I tell my friends all the time, like I would never expect them to just start doing this. Especially one of my friends, he has a book. I would never tell him to start talking like this because he has to promote his book. And if everybody's calling him a Nazi, he's never going to be able to promote his book. You see what I'm saying? Or if everybody's calling him a not even a Nazi, a Nazi, white supremacist, anything, they're not going to look. They're not going to get his book, or they're not going to. Sam, relax. They're not going to get his book. So, like I was saying, it's hard to like tell people to do this when you know the repercussions of it. But and I'm very secluded. I don't go out. I don't chill. I appreciate the hype. Fark, I see you with the follow too. But yeah, I don't I would never tell my people to just go out and do this because, like I said, it's a very costly thing to do, especially if you're under a system.
one of us who shares these beliefs to get power from the system to basically conceal their opposition to that system. And so for as long as I've been doing this, I have been encouraging my followers, young guys, if you like my show, if you agree with my views, that's great. That's why I do the show.
Yes, sir. I see
But
you with the
for
hype,
the most
brother. I
part,
see you with the
people
cheers.
need to keep it to themselves.
Right, because otherwise they'll all get fired, and who's going to send in the super chats?
Right.
But no, but that again, I usually don't talk about this type of stuff at work either. I would never go to work and just start saying stuff like this at work. It would just I would definitely ask you questions, but I would never like just go into full on, Nazi mode at work. That's kind of crazy.
But in a real sense, like.
But I learned that when it came with the women's stuff too, because that's the stuff that really got me red pilled was the women's stuff. So I learned that when it came to the women's stuff, because you can't because bitches are dumb. So don't even waste your time. You'll be at work trying to fucking kill bitches.
I told you before we started recording, the only way that someone like you can do what he does is if the vast majority of men don't do what you do. Right? Like if everybody set out to be Nick Fuentes, that would be I don't know if there would be a clearer and more effective strategy for losing faster.
Right.
Than that. So you always have to kind of have guys in the Overton pushing, and that's like probably 100-to-1 ratio for the few guys outside the Overton pulling, and yeah, so the majority of guys have to hide their power levels. They don't need to go and share with everyone everything that they think, so that they can work for positive change within the system. So now let's talk about the system, and specifically some of the arenas. So one, hide your power levels. Step one. Well, let's say step one, get red pilled. Step two, Don't tell everyone that you're red pilled, or at least all the facets. Step 3, though, what should they pursue? What vocation, what position? Like where can young men right now in the year of our Lord 2026, at the time of this recording being aired publicly, what industries, what arenas should they seek out?
Well, to answer that question, you have to understand how change occurs. And to understand that, you need to understand the structure of society, which is to say that the way that society changes, it doesn't change the way it did, let's say, 100 years ago. A lot of people, young people, they like to talk about getting out in the streets and just doing something.
Mm-hmm.
People talk about violent revolution. People talk about a groundswell of popular opposition to the system that sweeps some new regime into power. They think about, like, let's be honest, the revolutions of the 20s and 30s. They think about the Bolsheviks, the brown shirts, the Nazis, the black shirts, and they think that street power, raw manpower, is what delivers change. But that's not how it works in the 21st century. Everything has changed in the past 100 years. The economy, the political system, technology, all these things are different now. And I would say that raw manpower, which is manual power, muscle, people in the streets taking up space with bodies, is extremely overrated. And if you look at how society changes and how it's governed, what really counts, actually, if we're being honest, people don't like to hear it, but it's the truth, it's money power, it's political power, it's clout, it's influence, cultural power. And all of these forms of power, they proceed from the institutions. And by that, I mean, let's say Silicon Valley, for example, the tech industry. It's an institution.
Yeah.
You can be a really great programmer and you could be a really good software engineer. But if you don't have access to the kind of capital, if you don't have access to the biggest companies, you're not going to have any power.
Right.
And the same is true for media. Take what I do, for example. I do media. I'm a live streamer. I'm one of the bigger live streamers that's around right now. But without access to the institution, which is, let's say, Fox News, Blaze TV, even the social platforms themselves.
Right.
If I'm not on YouTube, which I'm not, if I'm not on the major platforms, my influence, reach, and power is extremely limited.
Yeah.
And you cannot
You were recently let back on Spotify, and didn't you, like, the same day or the day after, hit #1?
Yes.
You like, so you
And then they
granted,
dropped
like,
them.
maybe, let's say, they immediately kicked you off again. But if you had stayed on for months, you might have eventually gone down a little bit. It could have been the hype of, like, whoa, Nick's on Spotify. But still, like, I mean, it was like Nick and then Joe Rogan is under you. You're number
Right.
1. He's number 2. I think, like, Candace and Tucker are, like, number 4 and 5. That's extraordinary. And it's like, I mean, you were authentic and you said what you believed, no matter the cost, paid a price. But I feel like if I was you, I would probably wouldn't be able to help but wonder from time to time.
Yo, Hen, I see
like,
what the
I'm
follow. Appreciate
competing
you,
with
brother.
Some of these voices, while running a race with weights on my ankles.
Right.
Like, can you imagine?
And that's another thing that I don't care about anymore is that I didn't go through the same cancellation as Nick did. It wasn't as extreme as me. I didn't lose my banking account or nothing like that. But when I would do my red pill content, I was getting shadow banned constantly. I would have to make different accounts. I probably made, and this is when I was on TikTok. And this is when I first got big on TikTok. The first time I got to, I think, 4 million views on one of my videos, they shadow banned me. It's been a lot of times where I've just been banned, so I'm used to being banned, so I don't really care about being canceled. I'm gonna put out this message regardless. I don't really care about the money either, because, like I said, the stuff that I do for work is out of the way, so it's not really anything you could do to get, like, a corporation mad at me or something, because I'm not under anybody. So it's like, that's why. But I would never advise my boys to just jump in and do this. I would always tell them, like, you make sure you pay attention to what you, Especially, I don't let nobody who has my number follow me. Like, I'm saying, like, I don't, like, I'm not just letting everybody see what I do. I made a whole brand new account, random account, nobody that knows me. I mean, unless you know me, and you was following me before, then yeah, you see what I'm doing. But other than that, I'm not. I didn't start this on my regular account. I started this brand new, fresh, out of the blue, random, this random guy on TikTok.
Imagine, like if you were doing everything you're doing, but instead of Cozy TV, which I have no idea even what that is, like. I remember my wife and we watched the Candace interview, and you kept saying Cozy TV with this straight face. And my wife just kept cracking up. She was like, what is Cozy TV? She just imagined like an animated, little girl with kittens, surrounded, like, what is this? But like, you're competing with guys on Cozy TV and now, Rumble. If you were on YouTube and Spotify, on X, can you do full length videos?
No,
you can't.
No,
because I can.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had all of that, like, I think you might be bigger than Joe Rogan. Like, you actually might.
It would be possible.
Yeah.
Because the ceiling would be so much higher.
It'd be insane.
And that's really the point, is a platform like YouTube has 2.5 billion users. The platform I'm on, Rumble, has maybe 40 million.
Wow.
That's the math.
Wow.
And that is what shows you the power of the institutions. Because YouTube is institutional video hosting. That's where society is. And so to get any kind of clout, influence, power, money, you need to be plugged in to these to the powerful elite institutions, whether that's government, whether those are the biggest companies, most high-powered law firms, Hollywood. To operate at the highest level and then therefore have the most money and influence, you just need to be plugged in. And so with that, it matters less what you do rather than that you're doing it at the highest level.
Right.
Which in order to do it at the highest level.
It's not just what you do, it's where you do it.
Right.
And if you can't, like, if you're the world's best swimmer, but nobody will let you near water.
Right.
Then what are you going to do? Just for fun though, I just thought of this as you were talking. Because we're going to put this on YouTube. And I really hope to not be kicked off. I would love to not join you and being banned from YouTube. And it sounds like I've heard from you, but also others, that you can host, Nick, because other PBD and other guys have done it now at this point, but you just can't have your own channel.
That's right.
Okay.
That's crazy.
YouTube lords may end up listening to this because it'll be on YouTube and hopefully not kicked off. What would you say to them if you made? Would you make an appeal, or would you just say, screw you, at this point? Or like, what would you say? Like, do you think you should be on YouTube? Obviously you would want to.
Well, I do, because I think that the social platforms should reflect the First Amendment.
Yes.
They're not legally obligated to, but I think that they should, because that was always the argument that was made, is that the First Amendment is only protecting you from government censorship. A private company.
Think about this, guys. Facebook allows corn on the site, okay? Literal corn on Facebook, but they won't let Nick on Facebook. Think about that.
Prerogative to disassociate from people and cease doing business with them. So it's true from a legal point of view, the First Amendment doesn't force them to let everyone have a YouTube channel or let everyone have a Twitter account. But we also have the spirit of free speech,
right?
Which is to say that, and maybe left-wing people say that sounds ridiculous. But do we want a society where there's a general culture of free expression? And what is really the point of the First Amendment? It's really to create that.
Right.
It's so that people have freedom of conscience, freedom of thought, and then people can express themselves openly. And it matters actually more than anything that people can express themselves openly about politics and religion, because those are the most important things.
Right.
And so
G.K. Chesterton, he's like, people always say, don't talk about politics and religion. He said, I only talk about politics and religion because nothing else matters.
Right, exactly.
I've taken methylene blue because it actually
kind of where I'm getting at. Like it's kind of where I'm getting at, because like, what else fucking matters besides that? Like, that's kind of where I'm getting at too, brother. I feel that.
Here's the in.
Uh-oh. It's Pixar's funniest movie ever.
Specifically is for the political utility of that. So I am a big believer in free speech, so I think YouTube should have free speech, but I also know that no appeal that I can make will change their mind. I think
You don't think they'll ever change?
they may change, but it won't be because I asked them to give me
Yeah.
my channel back.
I feel like for you, like, on the one hand, you have the First Amendment and the personal incentive of like, it'd be great for you to be on YouTube. On the other hand, though, you are a respecter of freedom of association. So it's quite the conundrum.
Right, right,
It's like,
right.
I really want them to let me on, and free speech matters. Yet, at the same time, it was like some universal legislation to where, like, like if the Nick Fuentes case for coming on to YouTube was just a further step away from anyone having the freedom of association, it kind of would be a bit of a contradiction.
I don't know. I think that it's unique
Okay.
because YouTube is so vast. It is effectively the public square.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like the commons. And I would say more than that, YouTube is effectively a monopoly.
Yeah, it is.
All these companies, they get benefits from the government. Like, and people have pointed this out, they're the beneficiaries of the Communications Decency Act, where it says that they are not held liable for the content that's on their platform because Congress said it's conducive to free speech to have these platforms even exist.
So pick a lane.
Right.
Which one
so is it good to have YouTube for free speech so we're not going to sue them every time there's libel or violence or pedophilia on their platform? Because YouTube is not held liable if a user posts something illegal.
Right.
And yet YouTube wants to publish and they want to determine who gets to have a channel or not. So, if you're selective, then you're liable. If you're not selective, then you're not liable. You can't have it both ways. So I think that
So freedom of association, but YouTube's an exception.
absolutely.
Because it is the public square. It's actually shocking when you think about it. And the alternative scares me, what I'm about to mention, but it really is kind of shocking that you're talking about a private enterprise, corporation that legitimately, for all intents and purposes, owns the public square. Like, we would never do that in any city in the downtown area. Like, the courthouse belongs to the state, like this yard where people can gather and stuff like that. It's state property. It's not like Joe Blow in town owns it and he can say, get off my land. I have a feeling that eventually that concept will cease, even in America. As free as we are, I don't know if it's sustainable. And I mean, and the alternative scares me, like state-run social media platforms.
Oh, that's crazy.
It does scare me, but for it to be private enterprise also scares me for various reasons. So it's like, okay, so the government's not in charge. The Democrats aren't in charge. Oh, phew, good. So who's in charge? A bunch of Jewish billionaires. Like, oh, wait, whoa. So how do you, if you had to predict, looking down the corridor of time, do you think eventually, like, the state, and even here in America, would be like, when it comes to this industry, this is actually falls underneath the banner of the state speech?
I think that they're inextricably connected either way, the state and these are not truly private companies. All of Silicon Valley has been in bed with the CIA from the very beginning, with the intelligence agencies. They're all connected, and they're connected in this nexus between the universities, the government, and Silicon Valley. All the tech companies came out of some of these schools like Stanford or Harvard. And all these companies get major contracts from the government. All these companies lobby the government, pay lots of money to lobby Congress. And there's huge overlap between, let's say, like the Biden administration or the Trump administration. How many White House personnel, like czars, and I'm talking like cabinet level, agency level officials, how many of them are former Silicon Valley? There's quite a few of them. Like Howard Lutnick is very much involved in, let's say, like cryptocurrency. So is David Sachs. These are people very close to the presidency. And it was like that under Biden too. Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, these people are all over the civilian government as well as the deep state, as well as the iron triangle of lobbying and NGOs and nonprofits. So we have this sort of incomprehensibly complex system where there's not really a clear line anymore. You don't really know where the government ends and Silicon Valley begins, or for that matter, where the government ends and MIT begins, because they're all connected in this kind of like new system. But what I would say is, you know, when we think about a company like YouTube or Apple, for example, there's only like a few. Because of the barriers to entry and network effects and in other economic rules, you only have a few. Like for AI, you have like 3 big AI companies. For phones, how many phone companies exist? There's like, in terms of the operating system, there's like 2. You got Apple, iOS, you got Google, you got Apple iPhones and Androids, and same with the social platforms. You know, are there a number of large tech companies? No, there's like 5. YouTube, which is under Alphabet, so that's YouTube and Google. Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. TikTok, which is now run by Oracle, which is a data hosting company. And then arguably you got Snapchat and X, which are minor compared to, because Facebook is 3 billion users, X is 500 million, Snapchat I think is 700 million. Those are your social platforms. And to me, they're really more like a Standard Oil or US Steel, or they're even more like the electricity company. It's more like a commodity, because communications really effectively is like a commodity. It's like the modern phone company. It'd be like if the phone company said, we're not going to give you a telephone line because of your political views. Or it's like if the post office said, we won't deliver your mail because of your political views. Because they are communications companies. Communication is a commodity, you know, as a medium of information and peer-to-peer communication. So I think it would be better if it was heavily regulated by the state than the way it is now. And for 2 reasons.
That's
just
kind
quickly.
of what I'm inclined towards. Again, it scares me.
Right.
But the alternative and what we have now has not been good.
Well, and it's the censorship, but it's also even for foreign adversaries, is what I was going to say. Like we have, in China, they have the Great Firewall, and that's for a reason, because America is trying to undermine the Communist Party in China. And our whole idea is that we want China to liberalize, we want them to democratize. If they don't have a firewall, America is going to undermine them with propaganda. Same in Iran, same in Russia. In America, because we have an open system, who knows who is uploading this stuff on Twitter and YouTube or funding it for that matter. So as we enter a period of strategic competition, I think it's going to be necessary not just...
Yeah, what's so funny is my aunt sends me so much AI stuff. I'd be like, yo, this is AI. But yeah, like in 2026, that's all we're gonna start seeing is more AI propaganda, more lies. You never know exactly who is posting stuff, who is getting paid to post stuff, unless you're Officer Talmud, then you know who's paying him. But other than that, you never really know.
To have free speech for citizens, but to have censorship for foreigners and outsiders for that reason.
That's well said. All right, so going back to young men, hide your power levels. Not everybody gets to be Nick Fuentes. A few guys pulling the Overton from outside, most guys pushing it from inside. So they need to hide their power levels, get red pilled, hide your power levels, and then pursue. And that's where we got onto YouTube and media and those kinds of things. But we said, you know, pursue the institutions. And then you started talking about, you know, media as an institution in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Yeah, this was a okay interview. It wasn't bad. It was like a fun interview, at least. It wasn't like a boring one. I thought it would be like I didn't know how this would be. I thought it would be like simple, but this was a pretty fun interview to watch. Now let's get into this shit with Myron and US. So, with the war so far, I want to say the US has basically bombed all of Iran's radars that can, I want to say in Tehran, that can detect aircraft. So they have air superiority in Tehran. But when they say this, they're not saying this exactly. They're not saying exactly how I said it. They're going to say, hey, we have air superiority. So what people don't understand is, though, just because they have air superiority in Tehran doesn't mean they have air superiority everywhere around Iran. So air superiority is different than air dominance. Okay, so that's what you guys got to understand when you hear them talk about, oh, we have air superiority, we are, and they make it seem like as if they just running shit in the air now.
In the U.S. government right now, and Hegseth lied again when he tried to claim that the U.S. has any type of advantage in Iran, because if they did, they wouldn't be begging NATO countries to step up and help them. Plus, they've acknowledged that they have a shortage of interceptor missiles. They're going to run out literally in days, which is kind of embarrassing. You're winning
For a month. In a month, Iran can make 100 missiles. In a month, we can only make 7 counter missiles, interceptor missiles. Okay, think about that.
a war, then how is it you didn't even prepare with necessary equipment to be able to?
I know he knows a lot about military equipment and all this shit, because this Chinese radar shit is driving me mad, bro. Just there's certain things that aren't adding up. So I'm gonna jump in here real quick and
send a clear message to the president and government. Anyone comes next to,
he's real knowledgeable on military weapons, technology, capabilities, all the nerd shit. So let me see what we can get here with this stuff.
eliminate whoever comes 1 meter close to whoever it is going to be killed if they come next to a house that has a weapon or a facility that has weapons.
Yeah, so in brief, quickly, what's going to happen is Hezbollah is going to do what Hezbollah needs to do. 10 to 15% of its power will be directed to protect their back against the Lebanese army, and 85% is going to be launched on defending the Lebanese border, and everything is going to be all right. I mean, yeah,
like I said, man, at this point, there's only a military solution. If that means you got to clean up house, you do what you got to do. All right, you get rid of the traitors. They want to defend the country and they want to work with Israel. They're traitors. Use your due process to take care of business. In fact, don't bother. Just fucking take care of business. Period.
Yo, Truth.
It's time of war. What's up, man?
Yo, what up, bro?
How are you?
Thanks for giving me a mic. I was in Silly Space, and we're having a discussion on what we think is going to happen and everything else like that. But the one thing, dude, that is really perplexing me, it's one of the biggest questions I have during this entire conflict. Number one, the United States is claiming air superiority. Number two, me and you both know about the Chinese radar and surface air missiles they acquired that literally counter the stealth. Pete Hegseth went up this morning with Kane talking about we got air superiority, blah, 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 at the Pentagon, right? So which one is it? Is it the United States has air superiority, or are they kind of, trying to, how do I say, paint a picture that isn't going to be as negative, that's going to lead to backlash? So I think if the American public knew that the Iranians have capabilities of shooting down F-35, support with this war would drop off significantly, especially since the cornerstone of this conflict is literally via the F-35 and Raptors and B-2 bombers, etc. So what's the latest you've heard with that, Truth, when it comes to these Chinese radars, U.S. air support, superiority, etc.?
So I haven't seen any indication of air superiority. I've heard a lot of Hermes drones getting taken down because they're still trying to track where all the air defense systems are and the launch sites are, and they're not going to just unload or risk losing F-35s unless they know.
They lost 3 yesterday, and they said that they shot them themselves.
Will you hang on? That was in Kuwait. It wasn't in Iran. It's a different mission in Iran. I don't know if you're paying attention. They want to know where the air defense systems are and where the mobile launch platforms are. This way they can try to take those.
All right, guys, I'll turn on the volume now. I got y'all.
Yeah, so that hasn't happened. Those F-15s, those 3 F-15s you're talking about, that took place in, Kuwait? So, different story, right? And yeah, they didn't expect Iran to even be there, but they were. So that's not air superiority if they're getting struck in Kuwait, right? That's embarrassing. And of course, the U.S. tried to save face by lying. And there was a U.S. military professor that said it's bullshit. You're not going to have friendly fire from Kuwait 3 times in like 2 hours. Those 3 F-15s were struck by Iran, and that's what a U.S. military professor confirmed. I posted that, by the way. So they're lying. There's a lot of lies, misinformation coming out from the U.S. government right now, and Hegseth lied again.
What happened was another thing that happened was Iran. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, Iran! They lowered their missile launches. They're not launching as many missiles as before." What I let me not say what I learned. What I saw, or what I heard happen was that Iran didn't not run out of missiles, but they didn't slow down. the first couple of days with the distraction so that they can hit the radars in Kuwait, if I'm not mistaken. It's either Kuwait or Qatar. It was a distraction so that they can hit those radars that stop the missiles that shoot the interceptors, basically. So they sent a barrage of missiles for a distraction so that they can hit actual infrastructure.
Again, when he tried to claim that the U.S. has any type of advantage in Iran, because if they did, they wouldn't be begging NATO countries to step up and help them. Plus, they've acknowledged that they have a shortage of interceptor missiles. They're going to run out literally in days, which is kind of embarrassing. You're winning a war, then how is it you didn't even prepare with necessary equipment to be able to defend all your bases? And that's why they're all getting struck heavily, especially
not that they're able to do shit. It's on record that they're failing miserably.
Yeah, I know, but they lie. Like, for instance, there's that bullshit stat that I think it was Qatar that put out that they intercepted 100 out of 100 missiles. That's a total lie.
What the hell?
I thought that was me. No, he just got
the fact that that's what they were using as a
truth. You cut out for about like 10 seconds there.
Yeah, you're talking about the 90 percentile that Qatar was claiming for.
Well, that's been destroyed now, including a massive weapons depot. So again, and they're also short on Tomahawks. They actually have to resort to bringing in more air defense batteries, and also additional Tomahawk missiles from South Korea. It's kind of embarrassing to run out after 3 days, isn't it? And it's a so-called military superpower. So it's pure weakness. Look, Iran doesn't have.
Real quick question for you. So, okay, that's actually a good point you made. So because you know what, Larry.
By the way, this is Fox News that reported that Hexath is pissed off that because the UK got struck hard in Cyprus, right? Their bases there got struck hard, so they're scared chicken shit. They're like, we don't want to deal with Iran, they're too powerful. And Hexath is pissed. This is a Fox News report that carried this, that NATO countries don't want to step up and help the US.
That makes sense.
But guess what? But look at what they've done to these European countries. They've caused their cost of natural gas to go up well over 50% now. So on the one hand, you're punishing them with their energy costs, one of their biggest costs to run, factories or whatever it is they need to do.
And don't forget, guys, China gets most of their oil from Iran. So them closing the Strait of Hormuz might make China come into the war. Not like sending troops, but like make them help and send help like more. I want to say like help Iran more, give more support. There we go.
For their economy. On the other hand, you expect them to. You get it right.
Oh, my bad. Sorry about that. I had my shit unmuted. Okay. So let me go. Let me.
Do you understand the point? So they punish NATO countries with higher energy prices as a result of this war, and then they expect them to step up and provide resources to basically add fuel to the fire and shoot themselves in the foot. Because the longer this goes on, the higher the energy costs are, the more expensive it is for European countries to run their factories.
Yeah, and they're going towards Russia as well. I know Qatar and a couple of these other Gulf states were reaching out to Russia to try to get that gas, because Qatar lost a significant. Well, they lost one of their main companies.
Yeah, they had to shut down their natural gas pipeline because of instability in the region. Is that winning, Myron?
No, that's L. So let me ask you this then. Just going back to the radars and everything else like that. So I'm trying to put together here all the instances where this Chinese radar might have been used, but it was underreported. Because Larry from the CIA also said that he thinks it's bullshit that those jets were shot down by friendly fire. That's retarded. It's got to be the Iranians. But my thing is, does a surface air missile reach that distance in Kuwait from
over 700 kilometers? Yeah, from beyond.
Just quickly, Truth and Myron, if you look at the map, you will see that the southern western side of Iran just coincides with Kuwait. So if you're inside Iran, like to maybe 100 kilometers, and you have the S-400 or S-300, you can shoot it down and then it drops in Kuwait. So it was shot down in Iranian skies, but right at the border, and then it fell down. And so these defenses are inside Iranian territory.
Okay, so let me ask you this then, Truth. Knowing that they might have this, stealth, right, the stealth detection, how are the Americans and the Israelis right now engaging with Iran based off of this new capability with these Chinese radars? Because we do have some evidence here, even though it hasn't been reported, that these radars are probably being used. So how are the Americans and the Israelis combating that right now?
And another thing is that Iran, their biggest strength is their missiles. We can't stop them from making missiles because they have missiles. They have like these huge underground cities where they make these missiles. So we've been trying to bomb the entrances and exits to the underground warehouse or bases, but they're so big we don't know how many entrances and exits there are. So, whew,
Are they shooting
it's
way
tough.
outside of Iranian airspace? Are they flying lower to the ground? I've seen reports of that. Can you quickly like summarize all the different tactics they're using that signify they have advanced air detection from Iran perspective?
Yeah, so I haven't seen reports of, again, the F-35s or the F-15s, the F-16s breaching Iranian airspace yet.
Okay.
If they're able to, so if they're able to breach the radar or go below it, that hasn't been disclosed. There have been some Iran.
Oh, you cut out there, Truth.
One of their own jets just to say, hey, look, our jets have breached Iranian airspace now.
Oh, you cut off
They
there
got that
again.
shit. Got that shit Wi-Fi.
think he's
Truth.
referring to the
God
fact that
damn
some
it.
footage of
Come into
Iranian.
Iraqi airspace and destroy their
You
buildings.
keep cutting off like over and over.
Okay. This is better.
I don't know.
We'll see
still
right
cutting
now.
out?
No, we can hear you now. So I guess I'll ask this. Well, so you're saying that all the missiles that were shot or the ballistics, whatever the hell it may be, from these jets,
They're shooting usually through the Navy, through battleships.
Okay.
They're launching Tomahawks from there. Like that, there's actually video footage of them launching Tomahawks, which they're running out of, by the way. It's generally from the Navy. It's from a safe place. And then they'll move around and they're mobile. And yeah, Iran is, I believe, shot some ballistics. I don't know if they've sunk any of them or struck any of them. I haven't seen.
So the jets, to be clear, so what you're saying is the Israeli and American fighter jets are not
Another thing, Israel makes drones, right? The Tomahawks that we make cost, let's say, $1 million. Israel makes drones that cost 1,000. Okay, so we want 10 Tomahawks. That might be $10 million we got to put in. If they want 100 drones, that'll be 100. That's 100K. That's way cheaper. Even though these numbers are not the right numbers. The 1,000 for the explosive drones is, but I know the Tomahawks cost way more than 1 mil. But I'm just giving you a perspective of how cheap Iran's offense is. Like Iran's offense is so cheap. So they're sending the drones, right? They're making the $1,000 drones that explode, and then they're making $100 drones that don't do shit. They don't do nothing, and they look like little airplanes. You know what a fucking drone look like? Y'all niggas know what drones look like. So they send 1,000 of these drones at you, and in these different drones, some blow up, some don't, but they're all cheap to make. An airship carrier costs $3 billion to make. You see what I'm saying? We just spent 100K to destroy some $3 billion worth of shit. Or they just spent 100K to destroy $3 billion worth of shit. How long can you last in that? And that's really what we're coming down to is war for attrition. Who's gonna last the longest? It's a really chicken. Who's gonna get out the way first?
Exactly. They're stationed close by, or they're by the Persian Gulf, and they're just launching, Tomahawks, and they're pretty effective, right? The darker color as well. Some of them have been able to breach the air defense systems and strike targets.
Okay, all right.
And there's a tiny possibility. There's the B-1 airplane that can drop from high enough
That's
not
the
to be
B2.
caught by that.
No,
There's the B1.
There's the B1 as well.
B1. Yeah, that's why it might be able to fly higher and drop from higher levels where the radar cannot get. But that's the possibility.
I don't think so.
Quick update. Rocket launches detected from Lebanon towards northern Israel. That's it.
So I don't think they have entered because Iran actually, Iran is flying its own MiG-29s and its own fighter jets. That's also proof that they don't have air dominance over the Iranian airspace. So
Say that again, bro. You're coming in really muffled. What was the proof you had that you don't think they have airspace superiority?
Iran is flying its own fighter jets in the skies over Iran. So
okay. Do you have like? Can someone give me proof of this stuff? Because these are all really good things you guys are saying here that I'm not seeing anywhere else. Because, dude, I'm like, bro, what? I think when they said air superiority, they said it this morning, bro. I was like, there's no fucking way they got air superiority from that angle. But if they're not even going into the Iranian airspace, like, how can you claim air superiority? And then I'll ask this one last one, because this is
what people don't understand though is air superiority and air dominance are two different things. They could have air superiority over a city, sure, but not over the whole Iran. That's air dominance. So they might be superior over Tehran because that's where they bombed their radar, their uh um jet seeking radars. That's where they bombed them, but that don't mean they have air superior. That don't mean they have air dominance over the whole Iran, which is what they're trying to make it seem like.
Show the answer here. During the 12-day war truce, did the Israelis actually penetrate into Iranian airspace so that we can compare and contrast? Or were they doing the same shit they're doing now? We're shooting out further out.
Well, they tried, and a few of their fighter jets were struck. Again, they claim there's conflicting evidence. Iran claims it struck 5 F-35s. That's also Russian media press covered that as well. I presented that evidence back then, so they did attempt to. But generally what they did was get close to it, launch missiles, and then take off and claim that they did breach the space. They didn't. And again, the advantage they had in the 12-day war is they didn't necessarily need to breach the airspace to do strikes, is because they had all those Mossad terrorist cells, and they were using Starlink as well. Even when they shut down the internet, it didn't matter because, again, through Starlink they could remotely operate their Mossad terrorist cells and then use like loitering drones and also like their own. There's a name for it. It's a certain type of missile as well, to be able to strike certain targets. And they had agents on the ground, many agents on the ground, Afghanis, Indians, etc. They were wreaking havoc and also blowing up cars, blowing up tires, and doing terrorist attacks within Iran. And then what they would do then is do a recording of these terrorist acts and then claim that it was the fighter jets that did the bombings, just to claim some kind of air superiority, which they never had. So it was a bait and well, not just, it was smoke and mirrors. It wasn't true that it was done by fighter jets. It was done through Mossad terrorist cells from within. But they've lost most of those assets now. They don't have them anymore. So now it's much more difficult. And now they're CENTCOM's claiming, they're making a lot of claims that I haven't been able to fully validate. They lie a lot too. A lot of the CENTCOM sites have been struck, by the way, and they're claiming they've done a lot of carpet bombing and destruction from Tehran. They've done some, but they're exaggerating it. They also claim they took out 11 Iranian battleships. They show a video of one getting struck, and it turns out it wasn't even sunk. And so they lie. They lie consistently about what
They
they've
hit bunch
done.
of fishing ships, literally wooden fishing ships, and then they try to tell the world that we hit like this many, but they hit only one. The fire went.
But yeah, this was a nice little. I wanna, because we only have 4 more minutes left for real. So I don't really want to get into this because yeah, we only have like 5, because I don't want to like watch 15 minutes of it and then stop, because we're not even gonna hold up. Because yeah. Oh my goodness, because we already watched some Nick shit. I don't feel like rewatching a Nick shit. Like, I already know ground invasion is imminent because we watched it the other day. I think we watched this the other day. No. He posted this 5 hours ago. Yeah, it's imminent because there's no other way to get regime change. You're not gonna get regime change just through air and sea. Unfortunately, you're not gonna get regime change just from bombing, because you bomb one person, they have like you said, they have military leaders. They have people that will come up and take their spot. It's not like you have somebody in there that you can assert to change shit. So the people who are dying are gonna come up and take their spot, and they're gonna be more mad at you. So yeah, we're not gonna we won't watch this Nick clip or this Nick video. I really want to go through X. I haven't gone through X in a minute. Some chill shit. We've been on Iran for like the past 4 days. I really want some chill shit right now, but life ain't chill, right? Fuck it. Fuck it. Back to Iran. Some real nigga shit. Stupid ass shit.
And as you know,
stupid ass Goy slop
this
on
is an
it.
air
X.
and naval campaign so far. This is what the fighting looks like. The U.S. and Israel are deployed with their naval and air assets, and they are launching airstrikes over Iran. They are dropping tons of bombs, and they are hitting everything. They are bombing the missile launch platforms, missile production facilities. They are bombing Iran's navy. They're bombing the regime, the actual leadership of the government and of the military. Iran is retaliating. And how are they retaliating? Well, they have basically no other capability other than the missiles. They do not have a modern enough air force. They do not have an anti-aircraft system at all. Now they don't have a navy. They basically are incapable of doing anything other than launching short and medium range ballistic missiles, which are interceptable. But if they launch them in a large enough volume and across a broad enough swath of territory, eventually they're counting on the United States to not be able to intercept them. So the U.S. and Israel are hitting Iran. They say they've hit 1,700 targets. It's regime targets, military targets. It's all their assets. Iran retaliates with short-range, medium-range ballistic missiles against the following targets. They're going after U.S. bases in all of the Persian Gulf countries. Yep. So that is the United Arab Emirates. That's Bahrain. It's Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia.
They're
hitting
Iraq.
the U.S. bases in Erbil, which is Iraqi Kurdistan. They're hitting U.S. bases in Jordan. They're also striking the country of Israel, hitting military targets, government targets there. And they're also hitting civilian targets in the Gulf countries as well. So in addition to the U.S. bases in those countries, they're also actually hitting residential infrastructure, hotels, the civilian airport. Now, again, the United States, Israel, and the Gulf countries are able to intercept most of these missiles. So Iran has fired, I think in the first 24 hours, they fired 300 missiles. Not a lot. And mostly these are being intercepted by U.S.-provided weapon systems.
And,
so we've
and
put
you
in
gotta,
place...
gotta remember, these aren't the good missiles. These are just the fucking play missiles.
These Patriot missile batteries and THAAD batteries, as well as ballistic missile interceptors on the destroyers that are shooting down all the incoming missiles. The goal for Iran is to overwhelm these air defenses, either with large volleys of missiles in a single area or over a sustained period of time. If they can maintain the ability to launch the missiles, they're counting on the United States, Israel, and the Gulf to run out of interceptors, so they won't be able to shoot them down. And that has been the course of the war. Now, it is important to talk about what the actual strategic objectives are here, and to be very precise and specific. We talked about this in the buildup to the war, and it's equally, maybe arguably more important now. What Trump laid out on Friday is that this is a regime change war. So the strategic objective of the United States in the conflict, among others, is they are seeking a regime change. That is what they said.
Well, what's funny is, bro went from, this is going to last a couple days to a couple weeks to, hey, it's going to take us time. Don't worry about this. It's going to take us time.
In addition to that, Trump said that they are seeking, the U.S. is seeking to destroy Iran's navy and its ballistic missile capability. So that means, obviously, sinking all their ships, and also not just destroying the platforms that launch the missiles, but also the facilities where the missiles are produced. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, because Iran's missile production facilities and their launch platforms are fortified underground. So just like the complications with the nuclear program and the nuclear complex, these sites at Fordo and Natanz, where the centrifuges are buried under mountains and buried under the ground, it's the same story with the missiles. They have basically built entire cities fortified underneath the ground. And just look at a topographical map of Iran. It's all mountains. They build these cities underneath the ground, underneath thousands of feet of earth. And this makes it very difficult to destroy these completely and then to verify that the production facilities have been destroyed. And so even though Israel claims that these joint operations have destroyed half of Iran's ballistic missile launch platforms, it's an open-ended question whether we will be able to destroy all of them. And that raises some serious questions. But before we get into the missile aspect of the equation, because let's just say succinctly, for the sake of argument right now, the two strategic objectives here are regime change and destroying the missile launch capability. We'll talk about regime change first. This is maybe the most controversial operative word in this entire conflict, and maybe in the second Trump administration. Because historically, what a regime change means is that you kill the leader and you replace them with a different leader.
Yeah, we watched this yesterday. Not the same video, but we watched this yesterday. So I was like, we kind of watched this because he talked about this yesterday when he was like talking about the ground. We just didn't watch the whole video, but yeah, that's literally, yeah, I already explained this. We watched this yesterday. Iraq. Think of Iraq. Regime change. Think of Iraq. Look how long we was in Iraq. Look how bad Iraq was. Regime change. Yeah, so yeah, we watched this yesterday. The moment clavicular mogged ASU frat after kiss. Oh my God, let me zoom out this shit. How do you zoom out? The moment clavicular finally mogged the ASU frat leader after kissing his soulmate, the sorority leader. In the world of social signaling, the soulmate play is the ultimate checkmate. By winning over the sorority leader, clavicular didn't just take the girl. He took the validation that the frat leader built his entire identity upon. The silence that followed wasn't just shock, it was the sound of a new era starting at ASU. What? Well, first of all, if he had a soulmate, that nigga was lame to begin. He wasn't doing no, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you niggas sound lame already. My soulmate, he kisses all my soulmate. That's lame to begin with. Imagine you have a soulmate, you sound like a fucking girl, fucking bitch. Like, the fuck, how are you niggas like, how is it you niggas that are mocking? How is it you niggas that are the ones that are fucking, I don't get it. You niggas sound like fucking girls. She's made peace with not having kids and shared her plan for the next 40 years of her life. All right, I'm not gonna waste my time listening to this goofy motherfucker. Okay. India Love posts what DDG has been missing out on and shows proof of what Duke Dennis has been enjoying as she shows off her new. This is her. She looks different as she shows off her new. It's the makeup off her new two-piece Chanel fit. Safe to say, India Love is the best female streamer of all time.
And oil, but I didn't even order none. Nothing. I just put some body oil on. I got a little. It's a little overcasty, but the UV rays said it was like 9, 10, so I just went upstairs. But
she didn't even talk about this nigga. What are we watching? Like, shows proof of what? Yeah, he's been enjoying that. So is we. Like, we just enjoyed that for him. Like, any nigga letting his bitch do that is a simp. I'll tell you that right now. And even any nigga letting his bitch post her fucking naked on, nah, you're crazy. That nigga's just fucking. Don't worry. He will leave.
Pull up in the Maybach to holler at something. You can beat him without spending a dime. Some dudes have to pull up in a Rari or something to pull something. I'm pulling up on foot, chat. Some people got to pull up in the Maybach to.
King68 says you don't need to spend a lot of money to pull girls and claims he can show up on a bicycle and still get picked over guys in expensive cars. Sure. Okay. All right. I don't understand. Because, like, sure, you don't need a lot of money, but any bitch fucking you pulling up on a bicycle, nigga, shit. What type of bitch? Let me stop. Some niggas just, but that just, like I said, that just has to do with game and if the girl likes you or not. Like if the girl doesn't like you, she's not going. So it doesn't matter how much game you have. If she's not fucking with you, she's not fucking with you, brother. It's just that's why you don't really need the fucking Ferrari. But yeah, if you don't have game either, then you kind of like it's kind of like. And then another thing, niggas be fucking 6 foot something talking about that shit like that. Like it's a lot of shit that goes into it. Like it's not just a nigga having money. I promise you. Gigi reveals she's not in a relationship with Kai Cenat's best friend Lil after he kicked everyone from the Clover Boys. I see Kai unfollowed him. He's always been jealous of his friends. I hate that about him.
Matters. I'm also so thankful to have a partner who treats me with not only kindness but respect. Someone I can truly call my best friend. Having that kind of support has honestly shown me how important emotional safety and mental health really is. I am really proud of myself for how far I have come this month, and I just am excited for the rest of this journey. Yesterday was my YouTube channel.
She did not say that. Oh God, she didn't even say nothing like that. Anyways.
Sir. Let go of your hand. Let go of the door. Let go of the door. The senator broke his hand. A sitting U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. Sir. Okay. Control your Senate. We're stuck in the door. Okay, sir. A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. Hand stuck. A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. You're a coward. Punk. Yeah, go fuck yourself. What'd you say, Senator? Go fuck yourself. That's why you got kicked out, fat ass.
So he got kicked out, badass. Nah, he was probably protesting because they damn know Israel got us in these fucking war. Israel is the reason why we over there.
Not do shit like this, bro. Bitch! The designer supposed to send me my fucking design 2 days ago. What the fuck is my fucking mom, bro?
Yo, imagine you get sent 20K a month and you still is broke. Niggas be retarded. Oh man, niggas be retarded. But that's what happens when you give niggas who always has some shit. They don't give a fuck about the shit. Yeah, but we'll get off this shit quick. All right, people. Appreciate everybody for stopping by today. We went over a lot of shit today. A lot of shit. Hide that power level. U.S. is lying about Iran. It's not. Iran isn't just winning, but the U.S. is definitely lying about how much they're winning. And we might be having boots on the ground. That's basically what comes out today. Is we might be having boots on the ground. And let me not say might. We're going to have boots on the ground because that's the only way you can make regime change. And nobody's going to like it. My goodness. I just want to see if Israel's going to put some boots on the ground. Are the IDF going to be there? It needs to be most of them there. All right? They the niggas who are over there. Y'all the niggas who are over there. The fuck? Anyways, I will see y'all boys. We had an easy day. It was a fun day. Easy day. I will be live Friday, of course. So I will see y'all boys on Friday. Peace!
The bitch shaking it, showing it. You this, you that. We laughing at them together. Oh! So stop treating these mother like they mean something.
Let's go to TikTok.